Exceeding the permitted takeoff weight and center of gravity only ends well in comedies. On the 8th of July, 1989, a pilot in an M-18 Dromedaire aircraft was liming the forests in Beskidi. For his final flight, he filled the tanks with fuel and the hopper with lime. In contradiction to the flight manual, he took a mechanic on board. As a result, the center of gravity was beyond the real limit. And so, after a few minutes of flying, when the aircraft flew into a gust, it stalled. The plane crashed into a developed area. Both people on board died. Many pilots simply don't give any thought to performances. The plane lifts off in the first third of the runway and climbs sufficiently, even though fully loaded, so why worry about tables? But what if all the adverse influences accumulate? High and wet grass, high weight, temperature, elevation above sea level, gusting tailwinds, slope of runway. Will the runway be long enough? And what about obstacles after takeoff or along the route? An ultralight sunwheel flew into a gentle counterslope from the agricultural airfield Bukowa Oturhovich-Svin on a hot day. As a result of the insufficiently cut grass, the plane lifted off at a low speed. The plane climbed slowly and dropped a few times. As a result of the height and obstacles, the pilot was forced to take the first turn in a direction with a tailwind. There followed a drop in speed and the plane landed hard. After impacting the ground, the ultralight was destroyed by fire. The crew suffered serious burns, as a result of which both pilots eventually died. During a hot summer day, a pilot of a Zlin 43 aircraft flew into a valley, the southern ridge of which obstructed his route. The surrounding conditions, the weight of the aircraft, and the wind beyond the ridge prevented the plane climbing over the surrounding hills. The pilot tried to make a 360-degree turn, which would give him height. The plane stalled and then crashed. 3 people died, and 1 was seriously injured. Not only height, but also space can be a problem. Let us compare the flight path of the same aircraft with the same indicated speed and bank angle under different conditions. The radius of the turn may be a third larger. Do you take into consideration the fact that you may sometimes need far more space? On the 17th of July, 2010, the pilot of a Zlin 37H Melak aircraft landed in an agricultural airfield with full additional fuel tanks. Here it filled the tanks with chemical liquid, and at 4 in the morning, at a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, it took off. Shortly after takeoff, the pilot discovered that he had forgot to remove the additional fuel tanks. The aircraft's maximum takeoff weight had been exceeded by 17%. The pilot attempted to prevent the plane crashing by releasing a small amount of chemicals, but this did not lighten the aircraft enough. He continued in the flight at a speed close to stall speed, and continued to delay the decision to make an emergency drop of the chemicals. But when attempting to avoid an obstacle, the aircraft with exceeding maximum takeoff speed crashed during a turn. The pilot suffered slight injuries. The aircraft was totally destroyed. "It just didn't fly," is the frequent remark of those who forgot about the influence of center of gravity limits or temperature and managed to survive. The pilot should gain assurance on the ground that the plane will fly properly after a careful consideration of all the factors which impact the plane's flight characteristics. Do you want to be a well-known dead pilot or live to a ripe old age as an experienced pilot?